Well, 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 would you look at that? NVIDIA has just dropped on us the RTX 3080 Ti and the RTX 3070 Ti, with NVIDIA toting the former as their new gaming flagship, and the 3070 Ti a souped up version of the RTX 3070, and a much faster version than the RTX 2070. But in a time like this, why would NVIDIA drop graphics cards on us when it's already hard to find some of their other offerings a little bit lower down the product stack? Let's talk about it. But if this is your first time to the channel, do be sure to click the subscribe button and notification bell so you can catch all future content the moment they drop. What's happening, YouTube and the internet? Terrence here, and we are back inside the lab and discussing the recently announced or revealed launch RTX 3080 Ti and RTX 3070 Ti. Now, I had predicted that this graphics card, along with many others, would eventually come out of the product stack or come from NVIDIA. I was also right about the price point, where I said it would fall somewhere between $1,100 and $1,200. We talked about it on our live stream, and if this is your first time, I want to plug this in here really fast. If this is your first time, we do go live every Saturday, once a week at about 3:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love for you to join the conversation there, because we talk about a lot of these things during our live streams. On top of that, we also pop up and go live every once in a while too, so there's that. And then going over the specs here really fast, the GeForce RTX 3080 Ti, the newly minted RTX 3080 Ti, is built on the 8nm process, is based on the GA102 graphics processor. It's going to ship with a base clock frequency of 1365 MHz, a boost up to 1665 MHz, and a memory clock of 1188 MHz. 12 gigabytes of GDDR6X memory on a 384 bus, 10,240 CUDA cores, 80 RT cores, and 320 Tensor cores, which is the same that's in the RTX 3090. And then the RTX 3070 Ti or Ti is also built on the 8nm process on the G8104 graphics processor. It too has 8 gigabytes of GDDR6X memory on a 256 bus and on a 608.3 gigabits per second bandwidth, 6,144 CUDA cores, 48 RT cores, and 192 Tensor cores, putting it somewhere, I would say, along the lines of 2 to 3% faster than the 6900 XT for about $200 more. And since the RTX 3070 Ti is about $249 cheaper than AMD's 6800 and 6800 XT, I imagine the RTX 3070 Ti or Ti to be about 8 to 10% slower than AMD's offering over there with Big Red's 6800 XT, which is also still a little bit hard to find. And now both graphics cards are very much still powered by NVIDIA's Ampere architecture, right? With the RTX 3080 Ti still packing those 3rd generation Tensor cores for improved ray tracing and DLS performance, and along with the 3070 Ti. Now, the RTX 3080 Ti is scheduled to launch June 5th for $1,199, $1,199 USD. I know the price, we're going to talk about a little bit more. And then the RTX 3070 Ti will follow suit June 10th for a much budget conscious price at $599. But myself, along with a lot of you in the community, highly doubts these graphics cards will be available on both June 5th and June 10th, especially at those price points. Now, the RTX 3080 Ti is an interesting buy at $1,200, because take into consideration that this graphics card still has 4 gigabytes less than the 6800 XT, and just how much faster will it be very much depends on how efficient that Ampere architecture is on the RTX 3080 Ti and RTX 3070 respectively, or 3070 Ti respectively. It's also important to note that the RTX 3080 Ti has the same power requirements and power supply requirements at 750 watts, with a total power draw of expected of at least up to 350 watts. And just like the RTX 3080 before it, the RTX 3080 Ti uses NVIDIA's 12-pin connector, but NVIDIA still very much ships the adapter where you can use 8-pin cables as well. So that's astonishing, given that this graphics card is essentially an RTX 2080 Ti refresh with slightly more RT cores or third generation RT cores and tensor cores for improved ray tracing performance and DLSS performance. And if you want more information on DLSS, we tested the Asus ROG Strix RTX 3090 and a suite of games at 4K with DLSS at different presets. I'll try to remember to leave a card up here so you can give that video a watch after this one, or jump down in the description box below and you can find a link there. Now, in terms of performance, where does this put, or where will this put the RTX 3080 Ti, right? So according to NVIDIA, the RTX 3080 Ti is offering up to 1.5 times more performance over the RTX 2080 Ti, with the RTX 3070 Ti offering 1.5 times the performance over the RTX 2070 Super. Now, will that make it faster than the 6800 XT? We can only hope so for NVIDIA's sake, because at face value or at MSRP value, the RTX 3080 Ti is going to cost more than the 6800 XT, which has 4 more gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, although the RTX 3080 Ti will ship with GDDR6X memory and a slightly faster memory bandwidth, so it could make up for there with its lack of not having the extra 4 gigabytes of VRAM. And now, as a gamer in the market for a high-end graphics card, you may find yourself asking the question, should I go with an RTX 3080? Should I go with an RTX 3080 Ti? Should I go with an RTX 3070? Should I go with an RTX 3070 Ti? I mean, go with whatever you can afford and that's available at the moment. Now, obviously, you're missing out on about 12 plus gigabytes, of GDDR6X memory, opting out for the RTX 3080 Ti versus, or Ti. I'm not sure if we've all been saying it wrong. I believe it's the RTX 3080 Ti. So you're missing out on about 12 gigabytes of VRAM going with the RTX 3080 Ti versus the RTX 3090. But for that, price difference, you're not really getting that huge of a performance. If you're gaming at higher resolutions, past 4K possibly even, or 4K max settings, then you're going to want to potentially opt for that extra 12 gigabytes of memory. But if you're gaming at a lower resolution like 1440p max settings or high settings, 12 gigabytes is going to be more than enough. You're just going to have to ask yourself, are you willing to pay $1,100 over $1,200 for a graphics card of that performance metric or at that performance level? Do keep in mind, I personally am still waiting on the 6700 XT. I know AMD just dropped their I know AMD just recently had their Computex keynote where they revealed the 6800M, and I for a second thought that we were going to get the 6600 and 6500, but I really don't think AMD is done with their RDNA 2 graphics cards. I do believe we're going to see more RDNA 2 before the end of this year. Not physically, of course. I mean, clearly, I would love to get my hands on the upcoming RTX 3080 Ti and RTX 3070 Ti to test these performance metrics, or to test the performance FPS output of these graphics cards, especially at higher resolutions, which I imagine they are targeted for. But I just don't see immediate availability at launch. NVIDIA did introduce their cryptocurrency, or their mining nerf, on the RTX 3080 Ti, much like they did with the RTX 3080 and the RTX 3070, trying to push, cryptocurrency miners and GPU miners toward the direction of their CMP-based cards. That's the cryptocurrency mining processors. They're cards that are specifically designed for crypto mining. They have better power efficiency, and they don't handle games very well. So we'll see if this helps lessen the blow and make these graphics cards slowly more available throughout the year. Although in a previous live stream, I did predict, though, along with NVIDIA saying that these issues will continue to persist throughout the duration of 2021, I don't anticipate graphics card stock to normalize until sometime middle of 2022. And then onto the subject of the RTX 3070 Ti. Now, I imagine this graphics card to be positioned somewhere in between a 1080p max settings graphics card with ray tracing features enabled, or a 1440p high to max settings graphics card with ray tracing enabled. The RTX 3060 is going to serve up, your 1080p gamers who just maybe want high refresh rates at medium to high settings. They also maybe want to turn on ray tracing in some of their games, with the RTX 3070 Ti being targeted for higher resolution gamers who also still very much want to take advantage of, say, ray tracing and DLSS, because the RTX 3070 Ti, while it does, or it will ship with GDDR6X VRAM, it's only coming with 8 gigabytes. And with all of these graphics cards here since the introduction of RDNA 2 and the RTX 3000 series, it seems like 8 gigabytes is no longer the popular buzzword, right? Like 8 gigabyte graphics cards most likely will be enough for your 1080p gamers, but it's going to trickle along the edge for your 1440p high-end, high refresh rate gamers. So at that $600 price point, you may want to drop another $200 to $300 for a faster graphics card gaming at that resolution, because I doubt the 3070 Ti, the RTX 3070 Ti, I want to say Ti, it's not Ti, it's Ti. The RTX 3070 Ti, with its 8 gigabytes of GDDR6X memory, will likely be targeted at, say, 1080p gamers and 1440p gamers. That's my prediction, that's what I'm calling it, but I could be wrong. And I know that the current trend or the current market right now has left a lot of you discouraged and asking the question, why would NVIDIA even introduce a new graphics card? Like, their marketing terms are saying it's time for a new Ti or a Ti, but I believe a lot of us are just thinking that it's time for better graphics card stock, or for stock to improve, rather that's in the form of a Ti or a Ti, or 3070 Ti, a 3060 Ti, a 37, it doesn't matter. We want graphics cards in stock. We don't necessarily want new graphics cards. We want the graphics cards that were already announced to become widely available for gamers to upgrade their PC or finish their builds. It's hard to get excited around these launches or for these launches when you know that everything may look good on paper all the way down to the price and the specs, but soon as launch day comes around, or maybe even a week or 10 days after launch day, and everywhere you go, from brick and mortar stores, so that's your in-person retailers, to your online e-tailers, you're just met with a large big old goose egg. It's something we talked about in previous videos. It's something we're going to talk about in upcoming future videos, because which direction should you go in when you find yourself faced with those issues? I just think that it remains to be said that if you want a high-end graphics card, you are going to have to pay high-end prices to have that high-end gaming machine or high-end gaming PC. And so what does this mean for PC gamers and enthusiasts? It just means we have a new shiny piece of hardware to talk about, get excited about, but chances are on launch day or on release day, you won't be able to find any immediately, at least for the foreseeable future. But according to AMD, the NVIDIA RTX 3070 Ti and 3080 Ti will be available June 3rd. That's for the RTX 3080 Ti, and then June 10th for the RTX 3070 Ti or Ti, with both of them being available on custom boards, overclocked and stock from some of our favorite board partners like ASUS and MSI and what have you. So let me know down in the comment section below, are you hyped? Are you interested in these graphics cards, the RTX 3080 Ti and the RTX 3070 Ti? Will you be there on launch day, hitting the refresh button, or line up in the store trying to pick up one of these graphics cards? Do tell me down in the comment section below. And I tell you what, if you want more awesome PC gaming content, watch the top playlist first and the bottom one next. Consider joining our community by tapping the round subscribe icon down below. And with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Thanks for giving this one a watch. I do hope to catch you on the next one. So until then, be easy.